The Silver Dragon Queen suddenly suggested coming to my room to sleep. I thought she would torture me again like before, but I found out she didn't do anything strange to me. When I was already asleep, the Silver Dragon Queen seized the opportunity to ask me some questions. I answered all of her questions in a daze, and she also knew some of the secrets I had hidden in my heart. At that moment, in my sleep, I unconsciously uttered a sentence. This answer shocked her greatly. "Come on." Roswitha gently patted Leon's bed and asked him to walk towards her. During dinner, Roswitha told Leon that she would be sleeping in his room tonight. Leon had no choice but to agree to her. Roswitha changed into a very charming black nightgown. This nightgown is relatively thin, which can clearly outline her slim and beautiful figure. As she moved, her twin peaks also trembled slightly. Leon lifted his hand and reluctantly took off his pajamas. He thought that Roswitha would torture his body again at night like before. However, he couldn't refuse her request. He closed his eyes, furrowed his brow slightly, and showed an unhappy expression. He walked up to Roswitha and said to her, "I haven't seen you for 2 days. Are you in such a hurry?" Roswitha looked at Leon and revealed a mysterious smile. She said to him, "That's right. Turn off the lights." After taking off his pajamas, Leon turned off the room lights. Then, he climbed onto his bed and reached out his hand to turn off the bedside table lamp. Leon and Roswitha lay in bed together and covered themselves with a blanket. Roswitha placed one of her hands on the blanket and closed her eyes, revealing a smile. However, Leon did not want to be as calm as Roswitha. At this moment, his mood is quite tense. After all, he knows what she wants to do next. He tightly closed his eyes and placed one of his hands on the back of his head, waiting for Roswitha's next move. Although he didn't want to do such a thing with her, he was prepared for a whole night of physical discomfort. However, half an hour later, Leon noticed that Roswitha didn't make any movements or say a word to him. This makes him feel very strange. At this time in the past, Roswitha had already launched an attack on him. At this moment, Roswitha was still lying quietly beside him and did not do anything strange to him. Leon grabbed onto the blanket with both hands and looked at Roswitha with a skeptical expression. He silently said in his heart, "What's going on?" He observed carefully for a while, but found that Roswitha still had no reaction. Roswitha closed her eyes and lay in bed relaxed, without saying a word. She seemed to have simply come to Leon's room to sleep. With various doubts and speculations, Leon whispered to Roswitha, "Are we really just sleeping?" Roswitha didn't open her eyes and look at Leon. She answered him, "Well, what did you expect?" Leon flipped over with his back to Roswitha and wrapped a portion of the blanket tightly around his body. He didn't want to admit that he had strange thoughts about her in front of Roswitha. He tightly closed his eyes and quickly answered her, "Of course not. I'm going to bed." Roswitha secretly opened her eyes. and saw Leon's turning over. After hearing his tone of response, she found his reaction very interesting, but she did not reveal his inner thoughts on the spot. Realizing that tonight Roswitha wouldn't torture him like before, Leon silently said in his heart, "Since she isn't going to do anything to me tonight, I might as well get some more rest. After all, it is more meaningful to unexpectedly counterattack her when she is most proud." In order to avoid Roswitha coming to him again to vent her emotions, he needed to get enough rest so that he can have the opportunity to attack her. Then, Leon slowly fell into a deep sleep in a quiet environment. Time passed minute by minute, and the outside of the castle gradually became quiet. The moon has risen into the sky and illuminated the dim night sky with its faint moonlight. At this moment, moonlight quietly shone into Leon's room from outside the window. On another bedside table, a small alarm clock quietly enjoys the moonlight shining. The number pointed by the pointer on the alarm clock shows that it is almost 2:30 now. Roswitha opened her eyes and turned over, noticing the time on the clock. She took the blanket off her body and sat up quietly from the bed. She picked up the alarm clock from the bedside cabinet and carefully confirmed that the current time was correct. In fact, she has never really fallen asleep. She seemed to intentionally not intend to sleep and stayed awake until this point in time. At this moment, Roswitha recalled a little secret about Leon that Tiger had told her a few days ago. At 2:30 in the morning, if you ask Leon any questions while he is asleep, there is a certain probability that you will hear his innermost thoughts. She turned her head and looked at Leon lying behind her with a mysterious smile. She waited patiently until 2:30 in the morning, hoping to uncover the secrets hidden in Leon's heart while he slumbered. After placing the alarm clock on the bedside table, Roswitha turned around and quietly approached Leon. She silently said in her heart, "Let me do a simple test first." Roswitha reached out her hand and gently pushed Leon's shoulder. As Leon was already sleeping very soundly, he had no reaction to Roswitha's movements. She asked him softly, "Leon Casmid, what is the name of your youngest daughter?" Leon pursed his lips and answered Roswitha's question in a daze. "Muin." Upon hearing Leon's answer and noticing that he showed no signs of waking up, Roswitha felt very happy. "Oh, I succeeded." This also confirms that what Tiger said to her was not false. Roswitha had determined which questions she would pose to Leon. She leaned over to his ear and continued to ask him, "What kind of girl do you like?" Leon replied, "Silver hair and tall stature." Roswitha recalled that Tiger had also told her that Leon liked girls with silver hair, tall stature, and cold demeanor. She nodded lightly and agreed with what Tiger had said. It's exactly what his master said. Tiger also said that Leon once rejected a girl who met his requirements. Roswitha was very curious about this. She took the opportunity to ask him the reason. "Why did you reject a girl who met this appearance requirement when you were in school?" Leon still didn't realize who was asking him this question. He explained to her, "Although she looks good, I don't like her." Roswitha crossed her hands to her chest and looked at Leon with an unhappy expression. She felt a bit angry about his answer. After all, Tiger said he didn't immediately answer the girl's request to date him. She silently cursed him in her heart. You don't like her, but you hesitated for 5 seconds before rejecting her.